Our last stretch of the Australian journey as far as visa allows, crossing from east to west along the southern coastline. I don't want to be overly emotional on public platforms, but I'm sure some of the feelings you can relate. The longing for an experience so unforgettable that you almost feel stuck to move on. Even more so with the complicated world we live in now.
It's so hot right now.
Time will pass, the good and bad. So, jump in head over toe while you can. Got your seatbelt? Let's go.
You see Grampians over there. Just driving to our first campsite tonight. Thanks for driving.
Jay's Prado had a locker issue in the front diff, so we left at the AIB headquarters in Kilsyth, taking turn driving my Landcruiser on a last but very long stretch of the trip.
First time bringing the Rhino Rack 270-degree awning in the field. It rained. It's a good test. Gotta do what you gotta do when it's raining.
Soon the rain turned into a storm as we were packing up. Weather in Victoria can be quite unpredictable at times. It was sunny just minutes ago.
Wow! That is so cool. Nah, that's a convoy.
It's G-Wagon. G-Wagon, G-Wagon.
While pink cherry blossom is very common back home, these purple jacaranda flowers are more like fairy tale creation. Passing Port Augusta, we had to skip the Eyre Peninsula because of our tight schedule. This was in the last month of our Australian visa, and we had our eyes on Western Australia. I've been thinking of the stuff I can publish to make sense of my timeline to you all, while also not oversharing my private life. Let's just say, those were the happiest few months of my simple life, before any third party came in between my then partner and I. If you know what had happened, thank you for being there during those times. If you don't, let's just enjoy the good times together once again. I assure you, this is a trip for a lifetime.
Alright, let's talk about driving long distance on pavement. You already know what I was gonna say. So I have a tendency to push the car at speed limit. Generally in the outback on the highway you get 100, 110 or sometimes even 120, which this car really struggle. It struggles. Like when I set it on cruise control, it will, whenever there's a little bit hill, it boosts it straight to 4,000 or 5,000 RPM to try to catch up the speed. And also whenever there's a car right in front of you, I tend to want to tailgate them, go around and pass them. So this time, since we're only taking this one car and it's quite a bit distance going from Melbourne to Perth, tried something different. Instead of pushing at the speed limit, we're keeping the vehicle at around 2,000 RPM. So that keeps me at around actually 100, which is not too slow for the road.
20% more range.
20 to 30% more range, which translates to almost 60 kilometers more in my sub-tanks, which is significant for a petrol V8 Landcruiser. Here we are, Sedona. I need to go washroom really bad. So this little town is kind of like really in the middle of nowhere. It's the gateway towards the real Australian outback when you drive for miles without seeing anything but road trains and roadhouses. Is that a washroom right there?
Turning into the township of Sedona to find a washroom, and we found a fancy one right by the ocean. Oh, this is the washroom with auto closing doors. I remember this is a bit tricky. How do you get in? Press to open doors. Ooh. Okay, close doors. Wow. It's playing music for you. Oh my god. I'd be happy with just a party, but this is way over necessary. Wouldn't expect to see in such a rural town at all. Let's get some oysters. Before heading into Nullabor Plain, we stop by the infamous Sedona oyster barn for some fresh and baked oysters.
Nullabor is, I think, Latin name for no trees. So, as it suggests, this area has no tall trees, just small brown bushes and stuff. Expect it to be a very boring drive from now, because as you can see, there's nothing really. Stopping at Nullabor Roadhouse. Let's check out our location. You are here. So we've driven today from possibly here to there. Tomorrow probably we'll come from here towards the ocean, but we're not crossing the border tonight.
There is a place where you can run free. Time does not exist. Take a chance when the road before us falls under our face. I can't hold on. I can't remain so strong. We have the same old bond, but everything is gone. My love is gone, but I've been born. I can't make it on my own. When I'm alone, my love is gone. My love is gone, but I've been born. I can't make it on my own. When I'm alone, my love is gone.
Look at this guy. It looks like a small watermelon. Did it break?
Yeah. It's not one of them. But we have extra. We have 2 extras.
Okay, note to self, do not deploy 270 awning freehand in windy situations.
The whole thing just snapped out of it. It's rubber.
Another note to self, always carry some extra hinges. Jay changed the new hinges as I was setting up the swag. In the end, we still have an awning to use.
But anyways, it's good for now. Pretty easy to take apart. Lawn bolts, 5mm Allen head at the top, I think. And I just gripped this with my leather ribbon. Pulled out the bolts. 2 bushes hold those guys in pretty much. Plastic ones, and then these will slide out freely. So.
Before crossing to WA side, we'll first pass a quarantine checkpoint. At that time, quarantine means throwing away your fruits and veg. But now, the word takes on a whole new level of seriousness in our life.
Thank you. Just the 2 of you travelling?
Yes.
Alright, I was just going to have a look through the vehicle. Do you have any fruit and vegetables on board?
Nope.
Any seeds, nuts, honey?
Nope.
Excellent.
here you can have a certificate for crossing the Nullabors. It is actually quite a lonely drive. It's so hot right now. See how far we can go today and how we feel.
Just while I close my close
Yeah, no problem.
To date, I still dream about camping on this beach. We all have moments in our life that we wish could freeze in time. This is mine. I've used clips from this trip in many of my videos but never finished editing it as a whole journey. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to leave it this long. Yes, it's been well over a year since everything happened, but I remember very clearly. Every single detail imprinted in my heart and soul. The problem is, how do you handle the wave of emotion coming from reminiscing such an unforgettable time? It almost hurt a little to think that all of this may not happen again. I have been taking my time in the past year unpacking, no pocket left unturned. I found some bottles of sand from different corners of this land, and more red dirt hidden between my trims. I thought if I can hold on to some physical things, then it would never leave me. Only to realize most things are more stable in memory.
Guy just came over to ask if we're good. How nice are they? We're just airing up. So, yes, we're good.
You'll love driving on the Australian beach. We sure enjoyed our outrun until dried seaweed covered the ground. In the summer, over 40 degrees, your exhaust heat is enough to light them up on fire.
Good morning, everyone. So we arrived in Perth yesterday on our way down into the island. I actually don't really know how to ride a bike, so gonna teach me. Quite a full ferry. There's another level down.
Make sure you got a helmet.
Hey, buddy. Here. Look over here.
We didn't have time to explore further north of Perth. I know. I missed the best part at Kimberley and Pilbara. When you're catching your visa deadline, you have to give up some places. It planted a seed in me, a goal to one day come back and continue the journey, finish the unfinished. Some things may not last forever, either a journey to a magical land or a relationship. Even though it ended, even though the ending might not look good, as long as the time together have brought you happiness and joy, it is a valuable chapter to hold on to, with nothing but gratitude. So many moments throughout this trip, I wish that time could stop. All I can do is try to solidify the good times and memories in visual form. Australia, you forever have a piece of my heart.
"90 miles straight, Australia's longest straight road, 146 kilometer. So
Gay road.
straight road? Oh, okay. Where's the longest gay road? About an hour, we are out of the straight line.